Fellow citizens, we are on Operation Warp Speed to Oneness. My name's Trey, and today on my channel on Odyssey and YouTube, Trey's Myths and Tunes, and my daily ritual, Trey's Timeless 15 Minutes of Explain, I'm discussing emotions are key in remembering the future reality. I said it's cold. Feels like Independence Day. Sometimes I think I'd like to watch every single Orion and Gray go back to. I'd like to watch every Draco go back to Orion's belt. Or that way. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, Cinderella. Come on, drive a little. There's got to be something better than just stuck in the fucking middle. Now me and Cinderella, get it all together, we can drive home with one headlight. Now come on, Cinderella, now get it all together. There's got to be something better than just fucking yelling hella. Now me and Cinderella, now get it all together. Kiss the frog and make him a prince, and then you'll see that we can all drive home with just one headlight on a bicycle. Emotions are key in remembering the future reality. For example, I was trying to discern if I wanted to get an automobile, and of course I have a terrible fear, maybe also for sure after being struck by an automobile, but just not fear of responsibility, but it's fear of the average normal entrapment of the poor or houseless to be stuck in paying for their gas and their tax and all the repairs and getting ripped off by mechanics, etc. So this video is about how, because Santa Cruz provides some of my needs, such as cannabis, such as a beautiful place to sleep, so well, and others not at all, such as a legal position that I would like, that it seems appropriate for me, or a legal position, or matrimony, for example. So there are certain ways that it's wonderful and certain ways that it's so lacking that I know I have to move or leave, or at least, of course, take tolerance breaks or take vision quests if I ever was going to try to stay in this county at all. Even if I was going to be realistic about it, I'd have to pretend I'm a shaman even then. So just to not go insane or not have the wrong relationship, because it's such a powerful vortex. So, but in order to even go on a vacation or anything, because this place is such a magnetic place, and it provides many of my needs, like for food as well, so well, it can make me lazy. And but the emotional attachment, of course, the emotions are the key, because okay, so if you want to change, or even like in my case, if I'm addicted to being lazy about having to seek out my food, for example, or whatever, for whatever excuse I have, you have to make the emotional intensity you feel about the event or the place, the vacation or the move, the travel, more than you feel, say, if you live in Charleston, your love for kiteboarding or whatever. You have to make the emotion you feel for this is why my brother would probably only want to travel for fish tour, because he loves that more than his average everyday life, unless it's, when he has his children, perhaps, because he left fish tour to go see his children. So our emotions are how the negative aliens, often turn normal people into narcissistic psychopaths. And this is how the elite, so to speak, the L's I call them, this is how the L's, or the hell beings, or hellites, the Lites that use the Saturn cube tech this hexagram on the end of Saturn to make you think paying the rent, the property tax, the mortgage, and also through our habits to keep you stuck in the past, stuck in the fucking past. Often through contracts, of course, I've said this many times, through the rent, taxes, through your marriage contract, through your mortgage, all these contracted agreements, contractual reality, right? Saturn represents the limitations of the life, right? So we have this whole society that uses worshiping the inverted form of Saturn to control us. So through, in my case, sometimes through habits or routines, through my love of Santa Cruz and its nurturing Libra, even though it's got all the nasty stuff in the fourth dimension, you know, the towns we love, the easiness of it, supposed easiness, the codependency, laziness, addictions. Santa Cruz, it's funny because you have this, people have this tendency towards dangerous solipsistic socialism. So they want to take care of you, but they're terrified that you might be a real person, so they never want to find out. La-di-da, they never want to know, but they're going to let you sleep on the side of the road, and, because they love you. But God, heaven forbid, they get to know you because you might mess up their day. You might mess up their little Pollyanna fake happy reality based on having a silver spoon stuck up their ass. Remember the emotion. And now they make those silver butt plugs. This is the influence of the dark side into pornography. I mean, they probably invented pornography, but this is their influence or their manipulation of modern pornography, the butt plug. Oh, yeah, really, really cute. Not, to use an ancient expression from my youth. Remember the emotion you'll feel in the situation. Oh, and I'm never shadow banned. Remember the emotion you'll feel in the situation is the key, okay? Think about the relief. Mark Passio had someone on the other day, a few weeks ago, who's speaking about this. I think it's the Wizard Factory on YouTube. I just cleaned my tent. He said even when you clean, before you clean your room, think about the emotion he tells his students, think about the emotion you'll feel. Yeah, this is what the whole video is about, but it's a key thing, if you can't do this, if you're in a fixed zodiac sign or a habitual person, you have addictive personality, you just won't change. You'll be stuck. You have to really visualize how it's going to feel. So this is interesting when you take this into the realm of romance. My friend Joe Pace told me, the key is to imagine that she's already your girlfriend. If you become infatuated or you are interested in a woman, just visualize that, you've already been with her. She's already your wife or girlfriend. And it calms you down, but it gives you all this self-confidence. Not to say that you give up on attempting to be with her, but just, it's a very, very, this is that's $1 million trick I just gave you right there. So donate if you have extra money and you're inspired by this content. There's a little button to donate money right to my mother's credit card, and she'll give it to me if I need it. So I thought that my friend's statement was a great example of this. So what is the feeling to me? Admit and realize when it's harder, riskier to change your habit or your location or whatever, to realize it's dangerous. You got to admit the danger and just admit the fear is going to be there and do it anyway. You got to know your limits in a situation. And then, sometimes you can extend or sometimes you can transcend your limits if you know how to destroy the false limits. Knowing how to destroy the false limits, smash them with insight meditation. The Dalai Lama gets up at 3 a.m. and meditates for 2 hours before the other monks get up. Is that true? Learn to discern if your thoughts are real or fake, okay? Smash them with insight meditation. Travel reveals many objects in our subconscious mind. Like if I can't have my highest grade of coffee or cannabis or oxygen or whatever it is, for a day or 6 months or, however long it is. So letting go letting go of enmeshment and trauma bonding with people and places. If you still suffer from narcissistic abuse, narcissistic predator entities in your ego or your friends or your spouse, learn to let go of this enmeshment and trauma bonding with the place or the situation, because that's really a key first. Because that sometimes the hardest part is admitting you've grown accustomed to or like the subtle or not so subtle emotional roller coaster ride of the abuse, and you must be willing to see the often zeta controlled, psychological evil demon controlled distortions of, or evil alien controlled distortions of quite evil you got to see it as quite evil and undesirable to be a drama tripper, as they call it, or a drama queen, or you will masochistically feed back into them. You will feed back into the negative aliens. This is why a lot of people don't want to talk to me right now. Like a dozen or 2 dozen people that used to love to be friendly with me because I talk about this. They don't want to admit it. They love the drama. Okay, you got to realize it's undesirable. You're going to feed back into it. What does it feel? What does it feel like in the new situation, the new job, the new relationship, the new town or state? You got to be more excited or desire the new situation more. Okay, this is the key. So once you realize that, then you understand. I've just given you a powerful key right there. So Santa Cruz meets some of my needs perfectly, of course, and others it meets not at all. So my friend John Cood, the Scorpio shaman I mentioned before, he once told me, "Oh, this town will give you more than anywhere else, but to meet all your needs, he admitted you got to go to different places." And realize most people subconsciously have a mental hierarchy of human needs, ideals, or potentials. And if you can look on astro.com and check your astrocartography chart, it can really be helpful to realize the different available locations cause different spiritual activations and different astrological awakenings if you're parts of your subconscious, if you're willing to face them, right? Remember, the dark side and their entities in your subconscious will never want you to change, and they will always try to block your changes. They really don't want you to change anything. They feed off your habits, your negative self-destruction habits. I mean, it's sick. We got to realize how sick it is to want to change it, really. So you must be more excited or desire the new situation more than the current situation. That's the key. Be willing to see how and where you will be far more happy, wise, and or at peace. For example, leaving this mind control zone, I'm going to be so happy to be away from it. If you are not forced to leave, you will go back to your old routine if you desire it more. You got to realize this is how most people are. How the dark side has helped me awaken. The CZU fires. I went back to my brother's house. The lockdown. The day Newcomb lockdown, I was on the plane to Kauai for the first time in my life. I was there for 6 days. When I was supposedly hit by run over by a PG&E truck after I supposedly fell on my bicycle. I had the accident, which led to my awakening to the truth about the interdimensional parasites and all that. So, the cell phones, the forced cell phone usage what made it real obvious to me. And that's why I'm sure YouTube wants to block that video from being watched unless you type it in. So, shadow ban. So, my brother's covert narcissism led me to learning how to heal that. All situations can be used as omens of progress and also to show you what must change. Okay, this is again seeing the light or seeing the medicine in every situation. You can do that if you're on the shaman or the ascension path. Often things have to get very bad, rock bottom, to a breaking point, especially if you're a fixed zodiac sign, because you can be so stubborn, you'll never change. Even if some part of me is like that, even then, I might or you might need counseling from somebody else or to watch some video like this to get inspiration. Identity politics and inverted communities are okay. Um, Healthy communities are wrong in Santa Cruz. Okay, this is what I got to deal with. This is why I want to remain a hermit in this town, you know. So if you like this, click subscribe and the notification bell.